Hi, Rogue.
Hey, Zax.
Oof, well, I have to say, we are in for a treat.
What are we doing today?
We are finishing up Tagged Season 1.
Oh my gosh. It's been a really long time.
Yes. And for
I was hoping you forgot.
Yeah, we did let it get away from us. But also, I just really wasn't in the mood to watch it for quite some time.
I understand that.
But for your sake and for any listener watcher's sake, I have a quick recap. So if you don't want to go back and watch the whole thing, you're fine. But card in the corner, you should just watch the whole thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Go watch our other videos.
So, episode 1, 3 very different girls are brought together by Monkey Man's mysterious video of a girl being murdered. Episode 2.
Wow.
The girls.
What an episode 1. Nothing happens.
Yeah. Episode 2. The girls don't know if Monkey Man is real or not. Alicia gets kidnapped. Episode 3. Instead of looking for Alicia, Rowan and Haley decide to canoodle their respective interests.
Yeah, not with each other, unfortunately.
You know, it is weird, too. A lot of the show is kind of just them talking and hanging out. So, like, maybe if they were a ship, I could be more forgiving. But, like, you're going to bring in some random nobodies in instead of looking for Alicia?
I mean...
No dice.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, see, if they were a ship, then they could get distracted while they're looking for Alicia. Ooh, spicy.
Yeah. It'd be spicy, and at least, again, it'd make more sense, but they, like, go out of their way to do anything else but look for Alicia. I really couldn't believe that. She gets kidnapped. Rowan's walking home, and she's like, oh my god, I think I'm getting followed. And then it's just her boy. It's just Jake. It's fine. And then they just do it in her high school bedroom.
Oh, gross.
Anyway. That's fine. Well, 4, thanks to Ash, a literal drug dealer, Alicia's safe now.
Are you saying that drug dealers are bad people?
I'm not saying that they're bad people, but they definitely go out of their way to make Ash this delinquent.
Yeah. And
he's the only one who is the hero of the story.
The only one that really cares for Alicia.
Yeah. Especially because when we first meet him, it's like he's giving Haley drugs and he's like, oh, I don't care about your problems, just here. So, Ash wasn't supposed to be good, but he is like kind of one of the only respectable people here. Okay. Episode 5. The girls sit around and do, like, nothing this episode. But Haley gets a threatening text. And they do finally confirm that the murder video was real.
How did they confirm that?
Because Haley falls into a ditch and the dead body's
there. That's right.
Episode 6. At a school assembly, Monkey Man reveals that Haley just roofies her mom on the reg. And it leaves me wondering, who's the bad guy again?
Yeah, especially because the girls are all like, gotta keep it a secret. It's like, no, you need help, actually. See, and I brought up this theory before. I think Monkey Man is actually like an anti-hero. He's just trying to help these girls.
Yeah, they all have, like, serious problems, which, like, Rowan, I guess, like, if we want to, like, as far as secrecy to go, I guess Rowan's is kind of worth keeping because she put Jake in this situation herself. It's not like he's preying on her. He thought she was in college.
Yeah, but like he's doing her. What? She's doing him a disservice.
Yeah.
Like,
so
if anything, that one might be the one that frustrates me the most because
yeah,
I'm like but you don't need Monkey Man for this to go south. This has a huge chance of going south without him.
Yeah, it's... I don't know, Rowan... I think Rowan's... It's weird. Rowan is the protagonist, and as far as getting things done, it is Rowan. But also, she's kind of bad herself, but Haley's still the worst, and we'll get into that a little bit more over the final 2 episodes.
I don't
think
like
Haley's
any
the
of
worst.
the main characters.
Alicia, because like she's kind of like the droopy she's the droopy dog of the show.
There's the trauma bingo going on.
Yeah, so it's hard to be mad at her.
That's true.
Okay, this is the final 2 episodes. Saddle up because things might actually happen today, everybody.
Oh boy. Might. Keyword. That's concerning that you threw that word in there.
You know, you gotta be honest with people. Okay. Episode 7 is called #YourTurn. Remember last time, the girls learned 2 things. They all have probably wronged Monkey Man in some way. And the timer is counting down to Nikki's big party. Okay. So, someone knocked on Cop Dad's door and left an anonymous package. Then Jake shows up and he asks Rowan questions about like the whole "why did you lie to me about being in college" deal. Then she just makes out with him. And he's
this is
like,
why.
yeah, that's the reason. So we can do this. And he stops and he says, "No, this is wrong." But he also says, "I hate that this is wrong," which is like, I mean, yeah, I don't know what kind of feelings you had. Like, you were in love with this girl.
I mean, he really got... It's weird to call him the victim, but he did get gaslighted. Is that the past tense? Gaslit?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean...
both. I don't know.
That is fair to be confused about your feelings when you all this time thought you were in a relationship that was on the up and up.
Yeah. Cause like...
But like at that point you already know, so you just wait.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is too, cause like, I don't know, it doesn't seem like they know what the laws are, cause I mean, we did confirm this a while ago, which I gotta say, I'm really annoyed when teen shows make me Google what the age of consent in their respective state is. Like, maybe that's just not a good relationship.
I mean, I feel like it should be on them since they're the ones putting this relationship in there to lay out, not only, even if it were a made-up state or a made-up place, give us what the rules of consent are if you're going to have a sketchy age gap relationship.
Yeah, like, and I mean, I don't like to give them any sort of credit, but in Pretty Little Liars, they do basically make it clear, like, it's not illegal. It's strictly an issue because it's a student-teacher deal.
Okay, yeah.
So, still, I'm gonna call ick on that, but whatever. So, then, but in this, Alicia at one point says she's not even 17. So...
Oh.
So I guess they're not following the, like...
Nope.
They're under the impression that even in New Mexico, you have to be 18. Which, you said it is 16, right?
It's 17.
17, okay.
Within 4 years, so...
Within 4 years.
So 17 within 4 years. So between the ages of 17 and 20 is fine. But 21, you'd have to be 18.
Okay.
And older, obviously.
Well, alright. Regardless, this is a bad relationship. Jake is trying to tap out, but Rowan keeps pulling him back in.
Literally, physically.
Yes. So he pulls away, and she tries to kiss him again, but then she notices that he's holding the monkey mask. And she's like, "Where'd you get that?" And he's like, "No, like, I found this at Alicia's place. I wanted to ask you about it." And she just freaks out, and her dad, cop dad, runs out and is like, "Who is this?" And she's like, "I don't know, I've never seen him before." And narcs on him, and Jake looks so confused. Because he's sort of aware of the fact that the girls are being stalked, kind of, because I think we brought this up, but Bree went to see him at the gas station. Also, Rowan was annoyed that Bree was talking to him at the convenience store. Like, she was honing in on her man. But, like, they were just talking. Apparently, they went to high school together. Mm-hmm. And basically, she was just, like, letting him know, like, look, you need to cut it off with Rowan. Because this guy's following him around, has footage of you guys out there. Like, things are getting dicey. So he went there to try to talk to her. He had the monkey mask, and she just freaks out. Now, so that was kind of intense couple minutes of something.
Sure.
Yeah. Haley calls for her mom for a while, but then her mom isn't coming, so she goes to, just goes around the house looking for her. But then she sees that she's on the floor. She's most likely OD'd. Mm-hmm. And she gets a text from Monkey Man saying, "Figure me out or else." And the emojis, I guess, indicate that he's going to do this again to the mom and kill her. It's like pill. It's like a pill. It's like pictures of like little pills and like X'd out eyes.
So in this moment, the police are not searching for Monkey Man, right? Are they?
No. Because
is the video of the murder.
Yes.
Was that just on the internet, or was that only sent to the girls?
It was, the girls were tagged in it, but it is just up.
So, and I know we've already discussed just talk to the police, talk to cop dad, but
yeah,
they won't. So, do the police even know that Monkey Man is a thing? Because I feel like if the police got involved, it would be really easy to find him.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Everything is on the internet.
Yeah, he's leaving some sort of footprint behind, but...
And I'm sure he's using a VPN, but there are other ways.
Yeah. I mean, at least, like, you can't digitally cause someone to OD. He's got to leave, like...
Yeah, exactly. So if the police... Yeah. If he did... Well, I say that. I was going to say, if he did kill her mom, the police would definitely get involved. And... Well, but then at that point, would she say, like, would she give the name? Or would she be like, I don't know, I can't let my secret get out?
Well, no, that is definitely what they hate too. The cop dad is kind of not aware of Monkey Man specifically, but they did call the police when Raven's body showed up, so they know that a girl's been murdered.
Yeah, so they don't, I guess they don't have any leads in that case, or they have leads but no suspects.
I guess, although, as far as this whole show, the last 6 episodes, and now we're on episode 7, today is early Friday morning, Cop Dad found out roughly.
Oh yeah,
like,
it takes place over like the course of a week, right?
Yeah, the first week of back at school. So he found out, I want to say like late Wednesday or Thursday night. So it's still news to him about the body. So it's I think it's okay that they don't really have any leads yet. But the package that was left on the door, Rowan stole it. Because it's a video most likely sent by Monkey Man, but it's you can't watch what's on it yet. You have to use hacker knowledge to see it.
It's encrypted.
Yes, that's what they said. I couldn't remember the word. Okay.
You got the point across.
Yeah. Okay, so Haley's just kind of... No, I'm not being mean. I mean, I guess like what I'm about to say is mean. I'm not trying to be, but Sean shows up and Haley's just sitting there looking at her mom on the floor. Oh. And then he immediately calls 911. And I'm like...
with these girls.
And, like, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen my parent just on the floor unconscious. I'm sure that would be startling. But, like, how much time has passed? Like, you don't have time. You need to do something. I'm sorry.
Maybe she's just bad in emergency situations.
Yeah, well,
apparently.
I mean, yeah. She's... Yeah, okay. Well... I guess that gets solved, sort of.
I guess.
I don't know. She's somewhere. Cop Dad comes back after taking Jake down to the station, and he tries to talk to Rowan, and he's like, why was he just, like, at our house, though? You've never seen him before? And she's like, no. And he's like, he's so clearly done with her nonsense. He's like, whatever. I barely slept last night. You're being ridiculous. And she's like, I'm going to go to bed. So I guess it's like they still have time before school starts. So then, oh my gosh. She goes to her room and it is covered in roses.
Oh.
From, like, all over the place. And it's like, you didn't leave the house at all. Who did this?
While you were still in the house.
Yeah. Which I'm like, but that's the thing, too, like, that would be noisy. You didn't hear, like, think of really, like, dumping a bunch of flowers. Like, thousands of flowers all over the place. I'm not saying it's gonna be, like, loud, but it's not like just, like, petals were sprinkled a little bit. It's, like, stem and all.
Oh.
It's like
it had to
flowers.
Some noise while you were dumping it out of the bag. How did you carry it there?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it looked like a 3-people job if it happened in, like, 5 seconds. Because, like, I'm thinking, okay, so let's assume, like, how long does it take to just bring someone to the station? But he's a cop. He'd probably have to do, like, a booking or something. So... she goes back in the house. Cop Dad is taking Jake to the station. She just sits in the living room and completely shuts off her senses while they do this to her bedroom. I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty... I'd say that's in character.
I mean, yeah. Okay, so next we see Rowan and Haley are just kind of dishing it out on the roof. Catching up on how they feel about the last couple tragedies. Haley, this is why I'm like, Haley, I think you might just be a bad person, hun. Okay, so she finally comes to terms with the fact that, like, drugging your mom's bad, because she's like, I can't believe how hurt she could have gotten, and I've done that to her so many times. And then Rowan's like, yeah, why did you do that?
Fair point.
And she's like, it's just like no one else has to give their phone and computer to their mom at night.
You don't know
and
that.
Like, I mean, and like even so, like, I mean, if it's like this important to you, like, Save up. Get a secret tablet.
Also,
And
maybe,
don't tell
like,
your mom about it.
maybe, like, talk to her about it.
I mean,
I feel like this is where... I feel like this is where Rule 0 of Kind of Friends started, was with this series.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, just, like... And so, like, also, but, like, if... Let's pretend in this universe that talking doesn't solve anything.
Okay.
If you just need your mom to be asleep so that you can... Does your mom just never go to bed? She stays up so late every night.
Maybe she's an insomniac.
She's also, like, not super... Like, it is kind of extreme that she, like, physically removes the electronics, but she just, like, takes them with her to the living room and sets them on the coffee table. So, like, it's not like they're locked up in a safe or something. You could, like, if you just wait... And, like, when you do this, Haley, you're making it riskier because she just collapses in the living room wherever she was. But instead of your big house, she could go upstairs to her room. And your electronics would still be downstairs. You could just use it. So, like, no, this isn't... On no planet is this a normal solution to your problems. This is just you... This is weird that this was your go-to, Haley. I'm sorry. And then... This is also something weird, too. Like, I get it. Like... These are the last 2 episodes. We don't have a lot of time. We have to, like, just hash it all out. But if your friend just told you this pretty disturbing whatever that Haley just did, what's your response?
I don't know.
Literally anything.
Anything. Any kind of response that isn't just, okay.
Well, she just says, at least your mom cares. Rowan?
No. What? Excuse me? That's not the proper response.
And then, well, like, we know you're still salty that your mom slept with a science teacher, but, like, this is not the time, Rowan. But she doesn't even think it's a time, because then she just moves on to, man, I really wish I could make things better with Jake. And they talk about the roses. Then they finally remember, oh, hey, we had a third girl, right? Oh, what's her face? Alicia. But Alicia stopped talking to them after she found out, because over the last couple episodes, she's like, how do you know my cousin, Rowan? I thought we weren't keeping secrets, Rowan. And then nobody ever answered her because nobody cares what Alicia says and thinks.
So, I think we brought this up before, but how close is she to this cousin? Because don't you think that...
When?
Yeah.
I don't know, but all we know is that basically he's been giving her space, which I guess realistically he shouldn't have been, because she's been dealing with her very different traumatic issues and things. But when her parents died, he just took custody of her.
The cousin.
Because there was no one else. So I don't
The cousin?
know. Cousin, yeah.
So they're at least living together.
They're living together, yes.
So how he never talks about his girlfriend?
I mean, well, that's the thing, too. Like, and I don't know, because this is like, we don't really get to know anybody before the whole Monkey Man thing starts, so we don't know what, like, the norm for them was. I just remember there was this time where he got dinner and he wanted to eat it with her, and then she was like, no, I'm not hungry, and she left the room. So if we just assume she does that all the time, then I guess no, we don't really talk at all about anything. I mean, I guess maybe Jake wasn't ready to tell Alicia about his new girlfriend. Like, he hadn't even seen her house he hadn't even, like, seen where she lived at this point. They only just, like, randomly made out at, like, a convenience store. That's not really, like, a relationship to sell to people yet.
Yeah, I guess so.
It was... So... Because at that point, you're just telling your cousin, like, about the action you're getting.
That's not unheard of.
I guess that's true, but Jake's a respectful man.
Okay.
Then Haley is like, oh, you know what? I wonder if Monkey Man was one of the guys who auditioned to be in Romeo and Juliet, where I was Juliet. And that's why he's using, like, Shakespeare quotes and stuff. And then Rowan's like, oh, do you have a list of the guys who auditioned? Because that could, like, really help us narrow it down. Like, is there a way you could get that? And she just kind of, like, drags her feet and is just like, no, I don't think I could do that. And then Rowan's like, well, figure out if you can, because, like, we need to figure out who Monkey Man is. We just decided episode 6 that we were going to do that, remember? Anyway, she goes to hack her sister, and she gives the package she stole from Dad. And then, out of nowhere, and, like, I will have to just give a season 2 spoiler, because, okay. So, Bree, out of nowhere, is like, hey, that girl Alicia, cops think that it was arson. I know she said it was the candles or whatever, but there was kerosene on site. And then Rowan's like, well, Haley says we should trust her. And Bree's like, okay, whatever, but, like, someone set that house on fire. It wasn't just some candles. And this isn't going to, like, we don't need to talk about the details because it's very convoluted and kind of... The point is, they're not going to talk about this again until, like, season 2 later. So I don't even know why they, like, decided to stop everything for that. And especially knowing how nowhere it goes.
You're like, you know what's good storytelling is when you bring up one thing and then later bring it up 6 episodes after.
Yeah. So, then we just watched The Perfect Teacher on Instagram. Like, I was trying to see, like, if she was looking at any interesting hashtags, but she was just, like, watching teens vape and shaking her head. And then we cut away.
Why did you look up the vaping hashtag if you don't like it?
I know. So, now... Okay. Now, Rowan and Haley, no Alicia, they go back to the grotto and they're interviewing Ash. And I gotta say, like, Rowan is really taken after Cop Dad because she's, like, asking all these hard-hitting questions. And I'm like, hun, it's episode 7. It's too little too late.
You're a little...
Okay.
Yeah, where was this, like, 3 episodes ago?
Yeah. But he has deets. He found out that the dead girl, her name is Raven. She was this homeless girl around the grotto. Well, allegedly homeless. He just said, I think she's homeless. I don't know her life. It doesn't seem like anybody was looking for her. I don't know. Anyway, she was teasing Brandon, our favorite respectful of women character, Brandon. Do you remember him?
No.
Okay, so he bullies Rowan because he's in love with her. And, like, in the first episode when Haley, Nikki, and Casey were drinking in the park, they were with Brandon.
Okay.
And then a little bit later, Rowan is like, you need to stop making fun of me because at least I don't pee myself. And he's like, Arr. And then that's kind of like who he is. But anyway, Dead Girl was teasing Brandon on the day of her death. And Rowan once again asked Haley, hey, you come up with that list of Romeos? No. Okay. So now back to Alicia. She gets a call and she picks up Jake from jail. And she told the cops that they were together Sunday when Raven died. Because, they do know about Monkey Man. Because when they kept Jake because Monkey Man, the monkey mask. And they were like, that's what her murderer was wearing. So they do know about the video. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. So, Rowan goes into her room. And I guess she finally finds this note. And I'm like, man... I'm glad I didn't have a monkey man. This would have been in the trash years ago. But she finds a note from a secret admirer that says to meet her up. And this might sound familiar to you guys if you were paying attention to the last part and held on to it. But she says she didn't go because she didn't know who it was from. And so now here's the list of crimes. They figured it out. Okay. Rowan stood him up. Haley didn't let him be her Romeo. And then, which is so weird because, like, at that point it'd be like, okay, well, they keep saying you didn't let him be your Romeo. Like, you had a say in it, like he was cast, and you were like, ew, no. But that is not what happened. Otherwise, we don't need a list. Who was that kid? But then, this is something weird. Rowan kind of doubles down on Alicia's crime, and she's like, Alicia stole his teddy bear, and where she burned it online. I'm like, why are we shaming Alicia? Because, like, they're two separate things. Like, when she was a child, she stole a kid's teddy bear, which, like, yeah, that's not great to do, but, like, she was 7.
Yeah, kids do mean things to each other all the time.
Yeah, and then when she was older, like, after 7 years, that's your possession now. You can burn it if you want to.
I don't think, like, a 14-year-old is going to be like, when I was 7, this girl stole my teddy bear, and so I'm going to go murder some people. I
mean, spoiler alert, that is kind of what this kid did, but... But it was cumulative. They all have an equal share in this, in wronging Monkey Man. And then she brings up the whole fire thing again, and Haley's like, look, Rowan, when are you gonna stop playing detective?
She just started. Don't stop her now. We need her to play detective right now.
Yeah, we need someone to... You're not helping, Haley. You don't get a say. But then it just kind of fizzles out. They do their little secret handshake, and that just fixes everything. Okay. Bree decodes the video, and it just shows Ash shooting someone. And they're like, oh my god, he is Monkey Man. But we gotta go find her. But then we gotta find Alicia. And then we see Alicia at her house, and she opens the door. And you know who's at the door? Ash.
Okay.
And then the music, like the ominous music, intensified. And that was the end of that episode.
So, if Ash were Monkey Man, why would he film himself shooting someone?
You know, I was gonna say, why'd he bother saving Alicia? But, like, no, that's a good point. Why? Yeah.
Well, the Alicia thing, it could be like, oh, he saved her so that nobody would suspect it was him, but he still kidnapped her to send a message or something. Or he was like, wow, her friends suck.
Yeah, but also, yeah,
it's
also weird, too, because, like, they just did that whole thing, like, okay, Alicia, you dated this dude. Do you remember stealing his teddy bear when you were kids? Because I feel like that would have come up at some point.
Also, did he audition to be in Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah, I guess Rowan has no way of knowing if he was her secret admirer, but you have two other things where it's like, we would know. But the music intensified, so we don't know. It could be anything. It's anyone's guess.
Sure.
Episode 8. Hashtag Monkey Man. I was also a little annoyed that they don't spell it like his username. They just spell the words Monkey Man together.
Yeah.
And it's not, like, consistency, people. So they rush into Alicia's place and they're like, Ash's Monkey Man. He, like, comes out of the kitchen like he got himself, like, some water or something. And Alicia's like, no, he didn't. And so they show the video. And he's like, yeah. So here's something else from Trauma Bingo that we mentioned and just sort of left behind. But in case you remember, Alicia was almost taken advantage of at this motel. And Ash had mentioned to her, oh, we don't know what was happened, really. They don't say. But he's like, we never did talk about that night. So this footage of him shooting a guy, he shot a guy in the leg on the night in question. And that's why he was in juvie in the first place.
How did Monkey Man get that footage?
Well, they speculate. So he must have been following you the whole time. And then Alicia's
How long ago was that?
I want to say maybe... Okay, so they're, like, just starting junior year. It happened some point. But that doesn't make... I guess it had to be freshman year. But that doesn't really make sense with the timeline later. But it's fine. We'll come back to that or we won't. It really doesn't matter. But basically, they're just like, he was just going to let it happen to me. Okay, but now they know that Monkey Man wants to frame Ash, so they need to hit up that party.
Yeah.
I don't know if they go to school today or if the writers forgot and the party's just on Saturday now. So Cop Dad and Perfect Teacher bond over being in the army and pie, because he's like, why do you have so much pie? And I feel like she answered this before, but I guess I'm just blurring all this nonsense together. But she says, when I was in the army, I kept telling myself that as soon as my tour was over, I could order as much pie. We did talk about this. We did. I remember because you said something funny. But anyway, she says...
Can you tell me what it was?
So she says, when I got out of the army, I knew that I could order as much pie as I want. So she orders like a bunch of pie all over the table. And she's like, but I can always get so full after. And then you said, well, you could just order a different pie every day. Why do you buy so many slices? She doesn't even, it's not even like she takes like a bite of each one.
Yeah.
She like...
That's another solution. Like, take a bite of each one, take them home.
Yeah, like, it doesn't inspire.
Why are you bad at pie math? Come on.
Yeah, so they're
talking.
Yeah. So they're talking about this, but then Cop Dad gets a call from Bree, Hacker's sister, and he's asking about where Rowan is, and he says, no, she wasn't at home. And, like, so he's like, okay, I gotta go find Rowan because she did the old switcheroo. She told Cop Dad she'd be with Hacker Sister, told Hacker Sister she'd be with her dad, this whole thing.
Yeah, that kind of plan is always foolproof.
Mm-hmm. Because, well, I guess in this case, kind of, because I thought that Dad and Bree had a rocky relationship earlier on in the show. So I guess we could have just, at least Rowan could have counted on them not talking to each other.
I guess, but I feel like they talked more as the episodes went on.
Yeah, so, but I don't know if we were supposed to just not notice that or something. I try to watch this as, like, the intended audience.
Who is the intended audience?
I feel like...
Are you not the intended audience?
I mean, I watch all this stuff, so I should be. They should be writing with me in mind, specifically. Okay. But Perfect Teacher... Just gonna leave that there.
If you know who the intended audience is, leave a comment.
Yeah, it's gotta be like for high schoolers. I don't know, some teen. Who's any
drama?
teen show?
Is it the same? It's the same audience as Riverdale, right? So probably like high schoolers.
I will say that they're like slightly more respectful of young girls. Like, people aren't just taking their tops off every 5 seconds. So I don't know. I feel like the Riverdale audience, it's like just like for the slash material.
Yeah, I don't know.
They like thrive off of all the Instagram edits that they cultivate.
I can't
anyway
with Riverdale.
I need to give season 2 a chance. I've only seen the first season. I will watch more one day. I got a list of so many other good things to watch first, though.
It's at the bottom.
Yeah. Okay, so the perfect teacher remembers a flyer for Nikki's party, and she just, like, had it in her pocket. Maybe they did go to school. I don't know. Okay, so anyway. Bree sent Alicia her 2nd grade class photo. And she's like, okay, that's the kid I stole a teddy bear from. And they look down, and his name is Dunbar Rakes.
Dunbar.
And they're like, okay, but we got to find out what he looks like now. And I'm like, okay, maybe he did change so much, but, like, he doesn't look sort of familiar to you guys, at least at first. Like, they don't really, like...
So, kind of a side story, I guess? I don't know. It's related. There was this kid I was in the same 3rd grade class as, and I went to 3 different schools in 3rd grade because my dad was retiring from the Army, and so I, like, started in Alabama, and then during our transition here, we lived in El Paso, and then we moved here. So I went to 3 different schools in 3rd grade. So by the time I was at this school, I only had, like, 2 months left. Anyway, he was in my 3rd grade class. None of my other classes in elementary school. None of my classes in middle school. I saw him when I was, like, 22. When I worked at Chick-fil-A, he came in, and I was like, I think I know this kid. And then I asked him, like, did you go to this school? Did you have this teacher? And he was like, you were in my 3rd grade class. And I was like, oh my gosh, it is you. So just that being, like, he couldn't have changed that much. I'm sure you could still recognize him.
Yes, yeah, like, it was very frustrating. Like, they don't even look at it. They're just like, okay. And then, finally, they're like, Rowan's basically like, man, if there's only some way we could see what he looks like now. And then Haley's like, I know how. And here's where it's confirmed that she is the worst character on the show. She pulls up this thing. And it's this Instagram account full of different boys auditioning to be Romeo. And Rowan's like, I thought you didn't have a list. And she's like, oh, it's not a list. And I'm like, you do not get to be smug right now. So her and Nikki thought it would be hilarious and not at all a waste of their time to film all the guys that they were like, you're not cool enough to be Romeo, and put it on this secret Instagram account and have a laugh with each other and their other cool friends.
Okay, so maybe that's why he... What? But who said that she wouldn't let him be her Romeo? Was that...
She kept saying that herself.
Oh, that's why she said it then, because she had the secret Instagram account.
But she never mentioned... And, like, it was like, Haley, you were just sitting on this, like, vital information.
Like, you could have had this figured out much, much sooner.
Like, especially because, like, especially if you did this, and once the Shakespeare references started coming out.
Even before that, wouldn't you be like, there's a bunch of people that I've wronged.
Yeah, like, and it's weird too because the whole illusion's kind of shattered because since the beginning it's kind of been like Nikki or Brandon will do something mean and then Haley's like, look guys, like, you need to be cool. Like, yeah, I want to be popular like you guys, but not like this kind of thing. Yeah. That's just shattered. She's just as bad as the rest of them. And... oh, also, Dunbar Rakes doesn't have his own Facebook, so they couldn't find him that way. So now, some of the group goes into the party, and Alicia and Ash sit back, and they're going to look through all the things until one of the guys introduces himself as Dunbar. And then, this was, like, cute-ish, but also, like, not the time. Ash puts his bracelet back on Alicia. If you remember, before she got kidnapped, she took it off and said, you were my only mistake. So he puts it back on her, and she looks at him and she says, you weren't a mistake. And they share this, like, nice, loving kiss.
Eh.
Not the time.
Not the time.
Like, like, at all. Like, I couldn't think of, like, worse timing. Like, it's not even, like, the other times where it's, like, Monkey Man's hot on her trails. But, like, you actually, like, you have something you could do to help. So, do that instead. So, great. They're back together. Now it's party time. Cue some hip-hop selfies and other forms of teenage debauchery.
Hip-hop selfies.
Yeah, I mean, that was just, like, you just showed people taking selfies and drinking from, like, kegs or whatever. Like, I'm assuming they're synonymous. Nikki pulls Haley aside like, hey, I thought you were coming earlier, which is, like, such an annoying thing that keeps happening where, like, basically Haley's, like, not honoring her popular girl duties. But also, like, Nikki's her friend and she's just ghosted her and she doesn't even know why, but for Rowan. So, she's just been, like, gloomy, I guess. And then Haley's like, what, Nikki? Why all the doom and gloom? And then Nikki's like, well, Sean, Casey, has just been ignoring me. And it's like, after 2 years, this is really, like, how he wants things to go down. I think he's cheating on me. And then the door to the bathroom's open. So Sean walks by and sees them talking. But Nikki has her, like, head in Haley's lap while, like, Haley's, like, stroking her back. And Haley sees Sean. So she does that thing where, like, she's saying comforting things to Nikki, but simultaneously cutting things off with Sean.
Interesting.
Like, he loves you, and he'd never do anything to hurt you. And then he just, like, looks at her stunned and then leaves. And I'm like, okay, bye. See you later. Rowan. It's just so funny. Like, we had a mission. Like, what was even your job, Haley? Why is Alicia on Dunbar duty and outside?
Because they get distracted so easily.
Yeah. So
this is why it took them so long
yeah.
to even make a plan.
I do love.
Do you see how fast this went when they actually decided to do something?
We're wrapping up. It's wonderful that, like, I mean, just the idea that at the end of episode 6, that the fact that Rome was like, oh, you know, when he kidnapped you, all over the place on the walls was like, who am I? What am I doing? Ooh. And, like, until that was episode 4. Episode 6, they're like, maybe he wants us to find out who he is. Maybe that's what this whole thing's been about.
Oh my gosh.
Even in the first video, where the shotgun video, the caption even says, like, who am I? He's been, you know, as far as, like, mysterious online predators go, he's been very open with you girls about all he wants is for you to find out who he is.
He was literally laying it out. I was going to say maybe he needs to lay it out for them, but he was from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Yeah. I feel like that he's like, come here at this location, and then they're just like, we could just not go.
How about no?
So then, Rowan sees Brandon going into a room with, like, a big bag, and she's like, what's in your bag? And he doesn't answer her. And then she's like, well, I heard Raven was teasing you the day she died or whatever. And then Brandon presses her against
That's inappropriate.
He says, yeah, she was telling everyone I peed myself. And then he presses her against the wall. And he says, when's it gonna get old? Because remember, Rowan brought the same thing up to him, too, earlier. And she's like, and I was like, Brandon, you're an idiot. She's not the one. Because Rowan literally says, you'd be surprised how people say the same things. And then it's like, yeah, literally you bully me all the time. Because my mom had an affair. And our family fell apart. things to, like, I don't think you need to, like, bully anybody. But, like, as far as, like, things to tease someone about go, I feel like peeing your pants because you got so drunk one time is slightly better. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel maybe it's just because they're in. Well, first of all, disclaimer. I believe I talked about this before, but that's upsetting for a whole different reason. Because when you get so drunk that you pee your pants, you're actually really close to, like a toxic level of intoxication, like alcohol toxicity. So at that point, you should be like giving them water, potentially calling a hospital.
So you're saying not filming and laughing at them?
No, preferably not. But aside from that, I kind of feel like it's such... I don't know, because when you get that drunk, I don't know how to put it. If they were adults and this happened, I don't think they would be as hurt. They might be annoyed that people won't stop talking about it, but I don't think it would be like I'm getting bullied kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's also weird too because in Rowan's case, she literally can't take 5 steps into the school without somebody saying it to her. Mm-hmm. Brandon's case, she brought it up in front of his friends, and they pulled up the video. They're like, "Oh yeah, I have the video," and they laughed at him. But then he continued being popular.
Yeah,
it's just like, look, dude, that was hilarious. We're going to bring it up anytime we can,
and
but
we
won't dwell.
In that case too, that almost this guy got so drunk that he peed himself is almost like a legendary status in a popular crowd in high school, you know?
Yeah, you're right. I think it is like that, yeah. So, but it was weird because it was like, he was supposed to I don't even know why they had this conversation. But anyway, then she asks what happened when Raven was teasing her. And he says some kid tried to defend him, but Raven destroyed him. And then he goes to his bag, and then she's like, "Oh, what are you going to get out of your bag?" "It's just more alcohol." Okay, bye. So then Jake, because all the young people are on one team. Bree, Perfect Teacher, and Cop Dad are on another team. So now everybody's at the party. And Perfect Teacher sees Jake at the party, and she confronts him. And she's like, "Do you know how old she is? You need to leave, and you need to stay away from her." And he's like, "No, I've got family here." And I'm like, your family's outside, Jake. But also, this isn't a good look. You're a grown man at a high school party. And you're not doing anything wrong. You're trying to help your cousin find her attacker. But, this isn't a battle you're going to win, my dude. So just leave. I don't know what he does. We don't see him again for a while. So, then Alicia finds the video. They find who Dunbar is. And we see him auditioning, sort of. And then Haley's like, "Oh my gosh, I got to find Rowan." Now, Rowan is, I don't know, this is so weird, this is because, I know it's a party, so we were, cutting back to, this happened here, and, we're, these are happening, sort of simultaneously, but because, a couple different scenes happen in between, I'm just left to believe that Brandon took his alcohol, went to the party, and Rowan just stood there in the room and didn't leave. Which... Again, knowing these girls isn't... Yeah. It's not impossible. That could just be it.
In character for her.
So, Eric, he comes in. If you remember, he's the new kid at school. Yes. He's a nice boy. He comes in and he's like, "Hey, Rowan, I was hoping to see you here." And she was like, "I have to go actually catch up with my friends." And he's like, "I thought we were friends." And she's like, "Haha, I gotta get going, Eric." And then he starts laughing. And then it's like, oh, okay. Apparently, They've been going to school together for years. He left, and then he says, I just left 1 year. We had 2 classes together freshman year, and then sophomore year I had to live with my dad, who hates me. And then Rowan's like, oh, I'm sorry. And things still aren't really clicking in her head. She's like, man, it's weird you just decided to vent to me all of a sudden, I guess. But then Eric's like, yeah. And it just stinks because before that I lived with my grandpa. He taught me how to shoot birds and squirrels, and, before he left, there's one thing he gave me. A teddy bear. And then we got to Bree playing a video that says, now you know me.
Okay.
And now back to this. And he's going off about how these girls need to pay for what they did to him. And Rowan is just sobbing immediately. She's like, monkey man, and sobbing. And he's got a gun now. And he's pouring his soul out. But then... Now, to be fair, outside, Haley's still trying to, find Rowan, so she texts her, and then Rowan checks her phone. Monkey Man is standing right in front of her with a gun, saying, all of this, his whole deal. And she checks her phone, and he grabs her phone, and he's like, I'm right in front of you, please, just see me for once.
I know this is supposed to be their message is supposed to be teens are too attached to their phones. See, first of all, this is really the only time it comes through, and it's very ham-fisted. Secondly,
yeah, I will.
It just makes me think that she's just I don't know. It just doesn't. It ruins the tone, I guess. She's just hold on 1 second.
Because, she doesn't say anything to him. Yeah. She just, her phone beeps and she just picks it up. And it's like, hun, this is not the time to check out the new TikTok. Leave it in your pocket. But it was just so funny. I remember showing this episode to Matt, and we were just dying because he was like, oh my gosh, this kid was such a nobody.
Yeah.
How much of a nothing do you have to be that you're literally threatening someone's life and they still find their phone more interesting than you?
Yeah.
That's so depressing. So then, he's like, please just see me for once. And then she's like, what's your name? But then before he can answer, Haley runs in and is like, Dunbar. And then it goes to the party, and Sean is talking to Nikki again. Cool. I guess they worked it out. Anyway, a big gunshot comes off and the whole tone drops. The music's oh no. Things are getting real. It's kind of slow motion, but not all the way slow motion. And everyone's just running out. Cops everybody get out of here. Rowan comes out. She's covered in blood. And the dad's where was he? Who's got it? She just sort of awkwardly points to the room. And then Cop Dad's on the case, and then we just have a lingering shot over Monkey Man's dead body. But, I know.
What a twist.
It was such a weird reveal because, it was gonna be him or Rowan.
Yeah.
Rowan's alive.
I mean, maybe we had to assume, or didn't have to assume, maybe we were supposed to assume that since she's covered in blood, she got shot but not dead, and he's escaping? I don't know.
Maybe. And then afterwards, the girls share this weird... It's supposed to be a shocked hug, oh, it's all over. But you only really see Rowan's face, and she looks so bored. At one point, she rolls her eyes. And I was like, that wasn't... Why didn't we try this one more time? But... Because I think it was more supposed to be an exhausted rolling of your eyes, but it doesn't look like that. It just looks like she's just ugh. So done. Now we see the full video of what went down the day that led up to Raven being murdered. So she's mocking Brandon, like, oh, you're going to pee yourself again? And then Dunbar says, hey, shut up. So she walks over to him. And she's like, you trying to say something to me? And he's like, I hate you. And then she says, and I was, okay, well, I'll say this whole thing and then my opinion. But then she says, who cares? I don't even know who you are. You're nothing to no one. And I was like, girl, you do not know. Like, okay, I know that there's like, even in real life and in shows, there are people where they could just get a good look at you and they're like, I know what you're insecure about and I will just like read you to filth. But like, she just read into this kid's soul. Like, she's on another level with her savagery. I can't even.
That's basically breaking the fourth wall, I think.
Yeah, like, wow. I just can't even imagine, like, really, like, I can't even, like, there have been things where, like, popular people tell unpopular people, like, you're a nobody. Mm-hmm. But, like, you know, but that's more of, like, you're not a somebody kind of thing. And, like, you're not going to parties kind of thing. But this is the concept of you're nothing to no one. No one. It was just like, yikes. I feel attacked. And we all know where that led. So the girls are like, yeah, it's over. And then this is where it gets doubly ham-fisted with the whole phone talk. Because, like, they're sitting outside the ambulance truck with their little blankets around them and stuff. And they're, like, talking about hanging out. And Rowan's like, yeah, you know, it would be nice to just leave our phones at home and, like, go grab pizza or whatever. And the other girls are like, yeah.
You could have done that while Monkey Man was terrorizing you.
Yeah? I wonder, what would that show have been like if they had just, like, been like, Dad, I need you to cancel my phone or get me a new number or something because, like, I'm being attacked.
Yeah. Just, oh my gosh. There's so many solutions to this that don't involve doing nothing.
Yeah.
Or, like, making a plan. Oh my goodness. Oh shoot, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I learned nothing from this show.
Well, I don't know. Maybe this will teach you because the episode's not quite over yet.
Okay.
Just as they say, we're going to keep our phones away. We don't need no phones. They get this message from Monkey Man, and they're like, what? That's impossible. They open it, and it is this montage of different people in animal masks looking ominous-y, I guess. I don't know. And then the caption says, we finish what we start. Hashtag the zoo. And they all look at each other like, oh.
Okay, but now Cop Dad knows, so they can just go to Cop Dad, right?
Well, that's the end of this season. Spoiler alert for season 2. They don't.
Oh.
You know what's funny? I actually have not watched season 2 and 3 in a while, but I feel like Cop Dad actually left the show.
Oh no, he was the best part.
Well, he was too much of an easy solution. They needed to get rid of him.
He's the second best cop behind Charlie.
Yep. So that's it. We did it. We finished season 1 of Tagged.
Yay.
And like a handful of things happened.
Literally nothing happened. I do remember the last episode vaguely because I did watch I did watch all of season 1 with you once upon a time and immediately forgot all of it. And I remember the last episode kind of. It's definitely the one I remember the most. And if they had that level of action in all of the episodes, it would have been not a good show, but at least a show.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if we'll cover the other 2 seasons of the show, but because, like, it gets wild for sure, but also a lot of nothing happens. But as far as having a story, season 1 is the only one that makes sense.
Oh my gosh. What? Excuse me.
So season 1, it's pretty much a self-contained story. Mm-hmm. Seasons 2 and 3 are, you can't just watch season 2. Like, you can just watch season 1 and be done, basically. Right. Season 2, you can't. You have to watch season 3. They go together, and it's all about the zoo, and the more you learn, the less sense it all makes. And it was like... But, like, because they did send this message, they did have an idea for season 2. It wasn't just, like... They got surprise seasons.
Right.
So I don't know what happened, but it just it fell apart. I think Leah Marie Johnson, she left after like season 2. They get more and more new people. Casey sticks it out. He stays the whole time.
Oh, I remember what I was going to ask. Why?
Oh,
so
yeah.
Dunbar was Monkey Man's real name. Wasn't he introduced as Eric?
Yes. So what happened is, this is actually what I will say, the show did a good job of this, where like the first time, I wouldn't say I was surprised that he was the bad guy, but I do think it is, if you look back, you can see how it happened. Mm-hmm. So when he first comes, he's just asking Rowan for directions, and he was about to say something to the effect of, like, it's been a long time or something. Like, he forgot where it was, and she just assumes he's a new kid. And then later, he says hi to Rowan, and she's walking with Haley, and Haley says, I think that's that kid Eric. And from then on, they just call him Eric, and he never corrects them.
Well, that's on him.
Yeah! But, like, also, like... Dunbar is such an intense name.
It is. I'm pretty sure it's an elephant. Isn't that like a cartoon or a book series or something?
It sounds like something. Like, I guess my thing, this is like, and like, I don't know if this is like a hot take or maybe a mean take, but like, I think it's so horrible.
Oh, that's Babar. It has the same feel.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't like that kids get bullied for their names, but kids are dumb and they will find anything to tease anybody.
And that's
about.
been going on for literally the beginning of time. So
yeah, why? Like, even if it was like a family name, why? Why did you name your kid Dunbar?
I'm sure he had a middle name he could go by, right? Maybe. Some people don't have middle names, but yeah. Or I mean, by the time you're in high school, like Eric. That's a perfectly fine name.
Yeah.
You could just be I don't want to be Dunbar anymore. I'm going to start introducing myself as Kevin.
Yeah.
And even, I mean, in most high school classes, at least at my high school, the teachers would say, you know, I'm going to do roll call. When I call your name, let me know if there's another name you want me to call you.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think that happens pretty, maybe... Especially, definitely by the time of Tag, that was probably common practice, because it's like a pretty recent show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't even really mind the name Dunbar. It's not like that bad, but it's like, it's definitely not a great name in 2017 to have.
That being said, we're not throwing shade at anybody named Dunbar.
Yeah, I'm trying to be very... Because my issue isn't the name itself. It's that kids are mean and will pick on people for
Except,
having that name.
I would say, you know, it's kind of a meme now that millennials name their kids, like, weird things. Or that, like, really old names are coming back in because of millennials. So, I don't know. Maybe that's, like, a millennial type name.
Maybe. At the same time, like, yeah, maybe his name isn't an issue at all. Maybe I'm just bad. Because, but at the same time, though, what does that say? Like, could you really forget the Dunbar, you know?
No.
The fact that he had such a name, like...
There are some very interesting names, of people that I worked with at Chick-fil-A, and I still remember them.
Yeah.
Because they were so unique, you know?
Yeah, they leave, like... But even his name couldn't help him. It's a really...
Oh, poor Dunbar.
The fact that he had to go through all this and still at the end wasn't really even
Okay,
noticed.
we say that, like... We say, could you really forget the Dunbar? But apparently they did.
Yeah, I mean...
But how do you even get Eric from that?
Well, I think I don't know where she got it from. I think she just picked a name.
Or maybe there was, like, there was a kid who was new named Eric, and she just got it confused? I don't know.
Maybe. I think it's one of those things where, like... If I really, like, was, like, one of those, like, real theory channels and just took some time and, like, dove into this world, I'm sure there's some weird metaphor for, like, white privilege or something in that.
I think it's a metaphor. I don't think there is. I mean, I don't think the writers intended that. I think what they intended is, like, bullying. Be careful. Don't bully people because you don't know what they might do. Which is, like, true, I guess. But, like, that's not why you shouldn't bully people.
Yeah, you should just be good to people.
You shouldn't bully people because you're afraid that they might get revenge. That's not a good point of view.
Yeah. Well... I don't think we're better or worse for having finished this.
Nothing happened, so yeah, I agree.
But it was fun to talk about it still because I am very obsessed with this show and all of its nothing. I like that Seinfeld has so much more going on than Tagged. Okay.
Tagged is the true show about nothing.
Yeah. So, on that note, thank you for being here, Rogue. And thank you guys for listening. And remember to comment, like, and subscribe because we all need friends.